This is the skinner. My laptop was having issues. And also, plus I lost my webcam. And that was having issues. Also has been changed to a loveless one, so now I have a loveless host that actually will be featured in a lot. If anybody's wondering what a vlog is, it's pretty much video log. Elf, the cinnamon, or it also gives people a chance to see often where I get to show. Well, with the wig, yeah. It's with cosplay or what I think about. Before, with my long hair, and my hair got cut short. Glasses on for yes. Next year's other cosplay has been planned. Persona 4 is Chuuya-Ranpo. I was gonna call her by her last name. So I have yet to see. I have finished Persona 4, the animation. That's how I got into the whole Persona. Several kinds, yes, I think it's what, yes, we are. A lot of money on a system. I am probably would have to figure out. Oh, there's an Xbox version of it, but the only Xbox play on it, and sometimes he doesn't want to play. Well, his thing is that it's a two-player game from what I've read on GameStop's website and on the box, but he doesn't. So battle in Persona 4. It isn't like turn-based strategy. I do really, really want to play that because I really love as a whole character because she's really interesting. I don't know, there's something about her that just like strikes me like not just like what's in the Persona 4 game, but like Golden, which is the just talked about with other people stuff for the PS Vita. And playing that is probably the only game and I'm thinking about it. Don't Persona 4 Arena and Persona 4 Plus I need to go and play Persona 3. But that's to be. I am currently still very, very active in the Loveless month or so. Unfortunately, Volume 12 is going to be coming out Christmas. Um, and that really makes me sad. But at the same time, I'm kind of happy about it. I kind of also am. I had like different ideas and different headcanons for the characters, and it's so weird now to see that almost gonna come. That's like coming true. I kind of had a headcanon for one of them. I'm not gonna say one of the spoilers, but I did have a headcanon about certain shows, and happened to, you know, partners got switched around. That is actually really scary that that actually is going to be discussed. That was like actually being discussed in that chapter, and I'm like, um, but yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it. I did see I do actually, the site that I go to for like my scans um of the manga before they come over here. They kind of have like a couple of the scans, manga scans, and they post them like how far they're going and work in progresses of how they're up. So I've seen the previews for chapters 1. It's been really good. Some people don't like chapter 1 6 much, and I would have to agree with them only for that, but only because I want to see. Don't get to see much of the other characters. People aren't. If you haven't gotten into this, if you stopped at a certain point in the of this manga and wanted to know what Yuko is a wishes was in chapter 116. College student apparently. And it was so that chapter wasn't supposed to be uploaded to any done with it. So now I have to wait and see what's gonna happen. But it was just what I do for my cat. When I is I'm keeping him pretty much canon when it comes to the new chapters and what goes on. When I go back and read certain things, up on different things and how he reacts later on in the chapters. It's different. I have the notion that he's starting to fall in love with Sobi, despite the fact that their age difference is huge and whatnot. He's like 12, he's 21. Starting to fall in love with him, or he's starting to see him as, he's someone off besides just being their role sacrifice and fighter. So that's what I've done with this cat, with my character, with the in a committed relationship. But I did have the notion that I kind of realized that Yusuna doesn't know much about paintings and art, but he happens to like Sobi's paintings a lot. At the end of chapter 116, that he does like Sobi's painting. That one and said, yeah. But there is a slight catch. My Yusuna is actually growing. He's 13 now. He's supposed to stage 12 and, studying in 6th grade. He actually is still in 6th grade. Long. There's a whole profile I have on him because he sent us Yusuna. So there's some things on there that is I've made up and something. Another one that is canon wise on that blog is health issues besides having amnesia. It was discussed in I believe in volume 8 extra, the extra, it was revealed that he has a station system, because he was waiting. It was said that Toby took Misuna's hand. He said his hand was owned, and he's like, and Misuna says, I believe that is a canon illness that the manga writer, that the manga creator, and I use that to my ability for use. And there's a whole section on my blog. If you go that up, if you're on the blog, go please go look at it. So read it, because it helps a lot. I put in a lot of effort into making all those things canon-wise and alternate and AU-wise, so I really would like. I'll stop what I'm supposed to do. I'm always forgetting. I always come on here and then I always forget what they are. But there is oh, by the way, here's one more thing. Yeah. Hold on. Another fan of mine was I'm in. I did have a Adele. Oh, I can make it room. I had reached the Adele account. Activated it. I was the one for that with everybody. But so I was in there, and I was also, I believe there was a glitch, just a server glitch with logs, and I did also have a Yukina. But I think Tumblr may or may not. I just don't. I haven't had a Kisa partner for that, but they've been so busy with by the way, I just still following it, so followers or follow games. I have no idea. So yeah, I plus Brian 8 plus 7 and 9 omnibus. The last one that is published before they start doing before they started doing the with a separate to catch up with what's going on currently. Volumes 1 and 2 4, 5, 6, 7 volumes that Tokyo Pop has published before. This is also something if you all haven't heard of this already. Volume 8 was the last Loveless manga to be released, but Tokyo Pop shut down, and a lot of the fans were wondering what was for a while. I was still in it, even though it was like Viz announced that they were picking it up again and doing the omnibus versions of it. A lot of people were not too happy about it. Fairly honest, and I've said this a lot of times on this channel. I'm someone who likes both versions of an anime and manga. Japanese version, English version, subs and dubs. I don't really care. I love it. And as long as it's being brought over here for me to see, and I'm able to get it legally, not like, I feel like it's the same experience because, you have problems online with things, like links broken, people haven't updated it in a while, sites and whatnot. Also get in trouble for it, for upload and stuff like that, unless you're on the site like because you have to pay for membership for it. I don't. So for like a company to say that they're going to translate or translate a manga or dub an anime that I really like, I'm excited about it. I don't care if anybody. We're all entitled to our opinions about what we like and what we don't like. If people don't like dubs, that's fine. Get the English version, get the Japanese version, keep it on sub, keep it on the Japanese version and sub it. Or you want to don't pay attention to the subs and just listen to it in version. That's fine. Do that, please. I'm tired of hearing people say, oh, dubs are bad and they don't carry as well. It's like, I don't care. I'm not gonna listen. I like what I like. I like both versions of stuff. So, yeah. With that in mind, besides the translated versions of the manga add fuel to the fire. People want to hate me. I don't give it. I don't really care anymore. At this point, I have Japanese version, English version. So the English version of the anime, I have it. Love it to death. Like there's no tomorrow. I love the voice actors for Risukuna and Sobi. I love the voice actors for Sene. I love the voice actors for all the characters. I don't care if you don't. I don't care. I don't care at all. Hello? I have no quarrels with anybody who doesn't like that. Watch the Japanese version. Subs and no subs. I got both. Okay? And this does come with the Japanese version. Like you can put it on Japanese and not have subs. Love this. I love it. So that's my take on it. That's my stand on it. You don't like it? That's fine. But I like it. So what was I gonna do next? Hey. I have all my I'm going to show you guys I think I showed this in one video. Oops, there. Sorry about that. Sorry. Didn't mean to do that. Don't have the bandage on, by the way. No bandage. I have no on my hand. So. Oh, I'm okay considering. Ah. Right there. I don't think you can see it. Right there. You can't really see it. Whatever. Yeah. It's not very clear. There wasn't. I do have a suicidal scrawl left on there from files. So I did manage to cut my from there. So. Yeah. That is in the volume 1 version of Loveless. Right here. On the side. This is not in the original manga. Like, they actually would have it separate. So, see, never before seen bonus comics. They're the extras. That aren't really translated often on popular sites like Manga Fox or Manga Here. So, there's, like right here, there's a part where he's gonna say in Masobi's asking he's gonna what he wants. That. So what do you do about school lunches? I never eat them. Well, he's gonna send and Yumerou both saying, what is it? I never eaten them. Kinda does. When it says, what do you like to eat? Soft stuff, which means the pain. So I do have, so what it says here, I'm just gonna say he eats soft stuff. I can't really see because the camera's not over. He says soft stuff, so I kinda make sure that if you interact with the Riskana Muse on Tumblr, yes, and you see him eating something, if you come across him eating something like, rice ball or, that's a rice ball bento. So if you see him eat a bento, like a rice ball, sushi, I think, anything soft, like pudding, ice cream, anything that's soft that you can just like get into and just eat it and swallow it. Yeah, that's kind of what I do with the muse. You kind of eat something soft, like cupcakes. You always eat. I kind of make him eat cupcakes or. Almost. That is definitely a canon. Not in the anime though. The anime you don't show him. They don't show him doing too much in the anime. Of what about bento? Yes. Actually, he is kind of eating healthy stuff now. When I did have my stubby partner around, she was making big cook things, and he's starting to eat somewhat healthy now. So fried rice he eats now, salad he eats miso soup a lot. Well, it does say, do you like miso soup? And he says, I do. Twice that, because of the dry sardines in it. Yeah. He says that. Yeah. Because of the dry sardines in it. So, that's one extra that's in. That. That's one extra. Oh yes, by the way, there is a Naruto no, there's a Naruto player that I do adore her a lot. There is something though that I was talking about, like in here, like the first volume, which the nurse, his therapist, like he saying that someone was saying she has a visitor, she has a guest. It's me, I don't have any appointments scheduled. It's the police. The police is about seimeiaoyagi. So with that, I did have some closed reasons where Yuskina has been dealing with the police on his own, not because I'm trying to do much of a role player, but mostly because there's another go away. Backup thing is giving me a pain in the ass. There's that one with Hio and Sobi. This was actually in the anime where they go to Yokohama. There's wheel and stuff. Another one talking about what kind of I'm just gonna say, am I target? And everyone says yes. Vegetable. So on with the vegetable juice and a drinkable yogurt that that I'm gonna start him getting on soon. But yeah, there's the drink. I don't know if this is like an actual drink in Japan, but I'm starting to get him on that soon. So that's something. On it. Yeah, I'm gonna actually have him have that thing. There's something at Christmas. You dating a high school girl? No, you're dating an elementary school boy. Yeah. What about the hair color? There's was this Rosy Day one. I like this one a lot. That actually helps. It actually helped with like an AU headcanon that I had about where Riskana was moving away. There was an AU headcanon that is on my blog. Which is where he's currently at in the manga and anime. I had a canon though that also had moved away as well. Okay, here's the AU headcanon I have. They don't really give us too much information. I still really like to know what happened to him that caused his stuff. Hopefully that will get wrapped up soon. But he lived somewhere else. The Oyagi family lived somewhere else. My headcanon is that they used to live, and it probably coincided at the time when I made this. I had a I'm going to repeat this again. I had a headcanon where Riskana family had lived in Inaba for a while, ever since he was little. He has no recollections of it though, hence his amnesia. But they didn't move until after Seimeiaoyagi. Yeah, I put it. Yeah, where Riskana is trying to. Yeah. You know, people want to know how I got Riskana's yolls, like the yolls for Riskana's blog. Currently the one is of butterflies and memories because somebody asked me about it. The reason why the yolls of butterflies and memories because one, butterflies reminds Riskana of Sobi, and but it's no, it's not in here. On the manga, but and memories. The second part being memories because that's all of Riskana's amnesia, and he has memories so that he. I did actually have his amnesia kick in. I don't know if it happened. I'm hoping it doesn't happen again, but not for me. I don't want to do it again. But for my Riskana, I've made it where ever he gets stressed out or he has too much, and has too much stress or something has happened he hasn't been able to overcome, his amnesia kicks in and wakes up. He has no recollection of whatever happened, whatever. This has happened once before with another role player, and the whole time he's gonna only remember some part of it, but doesn't remember the whole time frame of from when we first met to whatever caused his amnesia, like the whole thing clear. So, and that's of me doing that. one, like I said, of Miskina in the rain trying. So these are not on any of the sites that I go to. I love how the manga writer, she puts Miskina as a little kitty cat. See? Splish, 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 splish. This little figurine right here, this little cat thing right here, that's Miskina. Trying to find something. There's one little one right here about his bruises. Oh, we talking about those injuries once underneath those bandages. Scratches, I think. I had the one because I got hurt. But unsafe for hiding here. Sylvie, never mind. I'm not gonna read that. Sylvie! No! That's Sylvie! You don't put bandages on for that reason, okay? No! No, bad Sylvie. Another one is the Chuuya-Ranpo with Sylvie and Miskina. But I actually was able to use a lot of different things from there. That is on. Why I say I ramble. Another mini comic that has nothing to do with the Loveless thing, but this is for like when Sobi was like younger. This is like when he's 11. So if anybody wanted to know what Sobi looked like if he had the ears, this pounced on Sobi's tail, see? Okay, here's the back version. That's what Sobi looks like with his ears, what he looked like when he had his ears and tail. Like that. Right there. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep an eye on where my fingers are. And a little comic. Mm-hmm. 17-year-old is gonna. What we think he's gonna look like still. 17 years old with his ears. Yeah. So. There's another one. Sleeping Beauty. Yep. Yes, by the way, this is another one why I have Sobi and Reese gonna sleep in together. Yeah. Anybody who thinks Reese doesn't sleep with in the same bed with somebody? Sleepy, so yes, we do say that. That is something I've said as many days as they can. Me sleepy, me. The mug, sleepy, but not my, I have to say something, another one. I totally, head over heels, totally am in love with the Zero Girls. Right here. Yamato and Koya, I love them to death. they are like the best. I didn't think there was ever going to be any yori couples, but yeah. Yes, I adore them. They are just the most cutest. They're like the most, like Sobi and Misuna. Actually, that was, no, sorry, spoiler, can't tell you. I'm sorry, I can't tell you. And then another one about one of Misuna's former classmates that doesn't appear. So, and it actually was saying his last schooling was a private school. So yeah, he did go to a private school last year. Oh, I love these. Five Misunas. See, he's the kitty cat in these. Kitty kitty. So yeah. Oh. Very helpful if anybody wants to try to do ear piercing. Hio's piercing seminar for beginners. Another one, a lesson in words. Because that's what Loveless is all about. Spells and words. If you're hearing that, like that, that's because you see the book. The book got rained on, so. Yeah, just to show you how much I take care of my books. I kid. I do take care of them. So yeah. Again, you guys will look at the translated version, the Viz translated version. Chapter, what was it, Volume 5, out the ongoings of the Oyagi household with Risuna being abused. I now bring that for focus with my muse. And this is exactly what prompts the Naruto roleplay. I just thought trying to get Risuna out of that household. I believe we put it on. I don't know what's going on with it. I think she and through no fault of her own, I think she just stopped doing it. I don't blame her for it. I mean, as much as I would like to have continued it, I'm not gonna force her. I think she stopped after a while, so now they're just back to being friends, and she's focusing on other. Muse is just focusing on Ivan, and is currently still in Sobi's apartment. No fault of her own. No fault. So, Naruto-man, if you watch this, if anybody directs her to this video, I don't blame you for what you do. And you can actually quote me on that. I am not pressing you for doing anything. There's another one here where Risuna say that when Risuna is deprived from Wiki Luna Day. It's named after the season, which is 4th. Well, 2005 was April 5th. Wiki is the Luna Day. Semei is Yeah. And this one is at MA is the start of the third month, which is April. But MA is someone and that's the start of the month. MA was born on November 14th. Oh, 14th, I get to celebrate Seimei's birthday. Yay! So I'm gonna have something definitely planned for that day. And of course, Miskuna was born on the 21st, just 4 days before Christmas. So yeah, I have a lot of things for doctors. First day of summer, so that's why I always have Miskuna celebrating the first day of summer with everybody. This is why I got the idea that Miskuna can cook. Something for Miskuna's birthday. Because my life was about Miskuna's birthday. Everybody's celebrating it. Or why everyone's saying. And if anybody sees what I have with the tags for Nagi, for Nagi-san, I call her the genetic engineer scientist because she generally engineers things, so has with the zeros. So that's why I call her genetic engineered scientist. Also, there was a new fighter / sacrifice unit called Fearless that was introduced. I did have a fighter and I did have a Fearless role players before. They both since then deactivated, which really have those characters around. Sadly, they don't sell. Oh, the rubber duckies. Yeah, we're just gonna have loads of rubber duckies. Kyo, of course. I love Kyo. Kyo is amazing. We do have a Kyo. We have a couple of Kyos. I've only interacted with like 2 of them. A lot of things. I'm serious. And Nana is a shut-in, by the way. Nana, which is... I'll show her, like, in full, like, in the next volume. Oak is not he's gonna say. Actually, my current therapy partner, belovedmasochist, we had a roleplay where it was private. We did it on over MSN, before MSN shut down Messenger. We had a roleplay where Riskina was very, very, very sick before I knew that, because of problem. But he got very sick. Like, he had pneumonia, and he got a very bad case of pneumonia, and he had to stay in the hospital. And there was a snowstorm. Of winter, we did that role play. Started it with the snowstorm because I had a snowstorm over here. So we incorporated the snowstorm in there, and there was a power outage because of the storm. And she had her Sobi wanted her Sobi to stay with me, Skinner, but he had an assignment to complete, which kind of coincides with her because she is currently in college, only goes there for 2 days, and she has a lot of assignments to take care of. So that was originally the reason why she was not around as much. And I think she's completely was because she had bad connections. But now I'm beginning to think something really bad must have really happened. I don't know. I don't have no way of communicating with her. Not replied to my email that I sent to her. So, but anyway, going back. And he's gonna head, stay out in the storms too long, and he's got his pneumonia really bad. Where they had to try and but eventually he had passed away. He died, literally, a little bit. Like, they had tried to bring his temperature down often and a lot, and Sylvie was really scared and trying to make sure that Vizcana was okay. They did everything they could, but we eventually had us being evil and nuns and wanting to cause our muses a little pain. I told her, I said I was going to have Vizcana die on the table. And she said, go for it. So I did. I made Vizcana. And it was heartbreaking. I cried. She cried. And I was like, we knew that was, we died of something. So, poor Sophie and poor Vizcana died. They got broken apart because of Vizcana's death. But he came back. We were able to have them, have the people work, quickly resurrect him. So he's good. He still, I don't know, I kind of backed off on that a little bit, so I don't know if, I put him in, good health or whatnot. But because of the ammonia and because of his lungs were, really clogged up, she had her Sobi stop smoking completely. So Sobi does not smoke anymore. If she ever was to come back, I'll probably have to. If she ever comes back, hopefully. Here's Nana, by the way. Yeah. Ducky. That girl has a ducky. Here's the other thing. When Vizcana's not answering his vlog, most of the time when he's dealing with his abusive mom, this is mostly what he's dealing with. He's tied up. Not answering yet. Look, there's a pony. It's a pony. But it's not a pony where you go, nee, right over here. Technically, it's a pony. It's a PS2. PS2. It just says pony because she wanted to save herself from copyright infringement. Most of the things in Loveless has, it's a parody because she wanted to protect herself from copyright infringement issues. So it's a pony. It's a PS2. It's still a PS2, but it's a pony. So yay! Yeah, the thing where I was having, he's gonna first. Oh, he asked if he's gonna drink alcohol, and that whole ask where I was saying he doesn't smoke alcohol, he doesn't drink alcohol, he wouldn't think about drinking alcohol. This is where that whole answer came from. This little comic right here. There's it all in there. I was like, do you like alcohol? Me, I'd never thought about it. And I hated alcohol and things like that. No one drinks in our family. Yeah. Not even Sammy. I don't think I've ever seen him do that. That's another thing. Mitsuna kind of says it's cool when he sees Sobi roll up his sleeves and do the dishes. Another thing for Sobi when he does. And I didn't like it, but it's a matter of physical constitution, right? I wouldn't get drunk at all. I'm just saying if. Probably. Maybe. I'm probably a strong drinker. That's all I'm saying. Toby, it's not whether you can or can't drink. People who know their limits, who are strong drinkers. Alcohol consumption is for folks who want to know better. So don't try to get me drunk, okay? My mom would not approve of it. Neither would Toby, or any of the friends who watch what I do on my blog. I don't want any of them to get the wrong idea. So yeah, don't try to get Riskina drunk. From me. And currently in 7 and 8, says Z. So these are pretty much what I was trying to say when I get my information for the Muse, is the extras. I'm trying to see if I can find the New Year's one. Yeah, right here. Pretty much, it says that I keep you waiting. I wasn't waiting. I forget I can't be interested. Really? But your hands are high. I've got poor circulation. That's where he says he's got a poor circulation problem. The last one was explains where they get the clothes from. And yes, especially this is what Sobi's apartment looks like currently in the manga. So it's just one big space. There's all the apartments. Now Riskina would not can do everything that he does. Those are the extras for all the lovers. And at 1 hour and 4 minutes of this video log since I started it. Wow. How much rambling did I do? I did a lot of rambling. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna go for now. But before I do a little part where I get to shout, where I do random shout-outs to people on Tumblr that I've been talking to and have been supporting me reboot of my Viscana blog for that. So, with that in mind, I want to say thank you to me, pintsizedcarnivore. You know, that's just from the mon. Yumerou, I love you. Hello from hell. What the heck? Was agatsumasoubi and seimeiaoyagi, my current semi partner that I've been at. Aixsakurai, who's been was a roleplay partner of mine for a long time, and though we don't talk anymore, I'm still grateful that you followed me and for the past interactions we've had. You're a great person to be with. So, last, belovedmasochist, of course, whoever you are, I hope you come back soon to Tumblr because I really, really need you. And so does my Viscana. For a role player, I don't know your new URL, so I just find you have been like the most awesomest person of all to be role playing with. Even you were just amazing. Your Sakura is amazing. Your Toru is amazing. I hope that overall, especially Sakura, she's just too adorable. Of course, last but not least, oh god dang it! I'm gonna mess it up before I even say it. See what I'm doing now? I'm messing it up already. One person and then I'll do the other one. Caragonia, which is my gay. I do as well because I really like your renters. I don't care what you tell me. You don't, if you know, told me before that, I can't say that because I haven't seen any other ones. I don't care. I don't want to see others. You're like the best one of all, and I love your character, okay? So don't try to tell me otherwise. And thank you so much for your support. Such thing, and it's been the blinded fool, even though we don't talk much either. That time where you helped me out with my relapse of suicide, that was what I needed the most. And last, definitely but not least, last person too. Hey, for me to say thank you to. A huge, huge, huge thank you to Prestigious. I screwed it up. I know that. Sorry. Prestigious. Yes, Killjoy, which is the Naruto role player that I have been doing various role plays with. Well, besides, you know. But a huge thank you to her as well, because without her, I probably would not even want to actually, it's not just her. It's all of you. The people who I have mentioned, I gave all my thanks to. It's because of you guys and all of my followers that I have not given up yet on trying to do my blog and trying to be active on that as so much. You guys chose to follow me out of a lot of these kind of blogs out there in this little fandom of Loveless. And even if I don't know the reason and nobody gives me the reason, I'm still very much grateful for all of the followers that I currently have, and for the friends I've made so much. Thank you guys so much for everything, for like the little interactions we do have, the messages, you know, asking if I'm okay, giving me support and whatnot. Thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart, and I wish that all of you will have the same amount of support for all that you go through. So with that, I'm going to go now because I still have to be active on that blog. Keep up the support. So thank you guys so much. Really don't know what I would do without you guys. Don't ever think that you're important to somebody. You're important to everybody in some way or another. And I'm always keeping all of you in my prayers and in my thoughts. So until then, this is Miskana Mun and Miskana Mu.